sacred mysteries.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sacred Mysteries Worldwide channel. I'm your host, Reverend Mignon Grayson, and you are in the Sacred Mysteries School of Spiritual Learning. Today, I'm so excited. We have a special edition that is focusing on the creative arts and dance in particular, which is a love of mine growing up in a creative family. And I have a special guest today who is going to share with us her experience not only as a dancer, choreographer, but also as a spiritualist priestess of the Orisha tradition, and how dance has been a part of that growth and expression of her art. So anyway, so today's talk, I'm joined by the esteemed Latwanette Stines, Dr. Latwanette Stines, who is also known as Oshun Ide. And she is the visionary and artistic director of Lakadko,
yes,
United Caribbean Dance Force. She is also a priestess of Oshun for 44 years. Asheo. Today, we are focusing on the artistic expression of dance and song and drum and its importance, and how we honor and call upon and praise the Orisha and the ancestors, and how we preserve our culture for the next generations. In all ancient spiritual traditions, dancing, drumming, singing, music have been central to how we worship the divine. Dr. Stines, as a priestess, dancer, choreographer, and educator, has combined her passion and love into forming and growing her dance company, Lakadko, and in so doing, honors and preserves Jamaican culture and elements of Orisha devotion and praise. I've had the pleasure of seeing a snippet of her work, and I'm excited to know a performance is coming up very quickly on January 11th in New York City, tri-state area people. Come on, I want you to come on through. It will be at John Jay's College's Gerald W. Lynch Theater. And so that we know a little bit more before Dr. Stines starts herself, I want to give you her bio. Dr. Latwanette Stines is a dancer, choreographer, actress, teacher, lecturer, administrator, author, and visionary, creator of Lantek, a modern contemporary Caribbean dance technique. Ooh. Dr. Stines continues to impact on the direction and future of Caribbean dance. Dr. Stines has a long and varied performing history, which ranges from classical ballet to Yoruba Orisha dance. Her dance career began in Jamaica with Alma Mok Yen, continued to the Martha Graham School, and finally through the Pepsi Bethel Authentic Jazz Dance Company and the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. Regarded as an expert in popular folkloric Jamaican dance and the development of contemporary dance, Dr. Stines has lectured in Africa, the Caribbean, Europe, and North and South America, using Lakadko as her canvas. Dr. Stines' choreographic work is inspired by the virility of her island's culture and ancestry, the sensuality of its people, and the natural mystic in the air. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Dr. Stines, for being on my show. I am so excited to have you here today. Please.
I am so grateful that you have me here today.
Oh,
thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, well, can you give us more of your background, your upbringing, and what brought you to where you are today as a choreographer and a priestess?
Well, of course, you know, I am from beautiful Kingston, Jamaica. And when I say that, remember, we are surrounded by the ocean. We have mountains, we have rivers, we have so many things to stimulate us artistically. I began being trained in classical ballet, but also I had a mentor, Alma Moken, who believed in bringing the source to us. So I trained in the traditional forms in Cumina, in Gere, in these ancient retentions that were brought here by our ancestors and given to us as gifts. And sometimes we don't realize they are big gifts because in them is a lot of information. And then I found my way to New York City, and I ended up at the Alvin Ailey School taking classes. And my mentor, the person there I remember the most, is a man by the name of Milton Myers, which I have to mention because he left such a stamp on my soul. And Pepsi Bethel with jazz, and Fred Benjamin. There were so many teachers. So I am really a Jamaican who have a really positive relationship with the African American community in America. You know, I believe that we are sisters and brothers.
Absolutely.
I believe that, you know, they moved a lot of us from the plantation, and we had the same mother and father, but they separated us. And so we have to share life with love. I strongly believe that, you know. So I ended up in New York, and I am so, what do you call it? What's the word now? Appreciative of my growth there. I grew as a dancer. I got to it was my where I learned about choreography, about the use of choreography, not just as steps, but to take to teach, to educate, and to make messages with. And so from New York, I found a wonderful man. I got married. I ended up in Florida. And I ended up I'm hoping I don't forget anybody in New York. Yes, in Florida now. Florida is important. Florida is very important because I decided to have the first Black Dance Festival in Miami, Florida. And I heard about these people from a place called Oyotunji.
Yes.
And I heard about a man named Baba Osejiman Adefumi. And Yeye Fini Ifambolade. And I found a way to invite them to Miami to perform. And they were going to perform this story about the Yoruba culture. But when they entered my dance studio, they looked at me and said, "Look at that Oshun child." No, I had never heard that word in my life. It sounded like a curse word, as a matter of fact. I said to myself, what I'm talking about? And then all of them said, "Look at this Oshun child. Oh my God, this is Oshun's child." I said, what the hell are they speaking about, you know? And then we had the performance, and then they invited me because they were going to have a misa, which is really, really Santeria, you know. And remember, I used to go to the river. I went to every church. Spirituality didn't begin for me there because at a very young age, my mother realized that I have what I call Zait. I'm a spiritista. I'm the person through which the Orishas speak and the ancestors. But my mother identified that when I was like 7, 6. And my little shiny mother nurtured it. She would say to me, "What did you see? Tell me." And I'm so proud of her. You know, she transitioned, but it's hard for me to say the word because I don't believe she went anywhere. I think she's right here listening to us now, you know. So
She is.
I don't really relate to that very much, you know. So I was fortunate that she didn't do what some parents did to their children. In the Caribbean and some parts of the world, when you see things that they take salt and put it in your mouth because they want you to stop. My mother didn't do that. My mother said, "Tell me what you see. What is happening here?"
Wise woman, wise.
Wise woman. A very young girl who had me when she was very young, but she was old, ancient spirit. And so I am now in Miami hearing about Oshun, and I'm going to a misa. And they tell me to wear full white. And I said, "Well, I've been doing that all my life, wearing full white. I own full white." And tie your head. I said, "Oh, I can tie my head." And one of my dancers went with me to this misa. And the next morning, she left me in my car. I got up when the misa was finished. I was the spiritist that was passing messages, and so she got upset. What is this? She got in my car and left me at the place. And of course, you know, these very African people. They walk with beautiful African clothes, brand new clothes. So I was fully dressed the next morning in beautiful African clothes. I got the best meal. I was happy. And I know that I must reach home. Somehow or other, I'll get home. And that's where it began. With these beautiful priests and priestesses from Oyotunji. And the next thing you know, maybe a little bit after I received my warriors, and maybe a year or two after, I was on a bus going to Carolina to get initiated. And from there, and after that, many years after, I ended up, why I said to you, I'm Oshunide, but I'm also Oshun Awadewemo. It's because I'm also an Iami. I was initiated in Nigeria as that. So it's you African American psychologists. I'm just teasing you. I was introduced, and then no one forces you to do anything.
Yes.
My spirit felt comfortable. My spirit felt safe. The ancestors were there calling me because I had to do an Agungung ceremony before I was initiated because of my relationship with the Eglins. And so I am very grateful to that space and to how I was introduced, because I've always been so happy that happened to me.
That's the way spirit works.
Yeah.
I mean, the alignment just happens. It's
at that
very,
moment.
Very planned.
And I was very pregnant.
And
so
you were pregnant?
My son was born already with Ashe, because all the rituals being done to this big belly.
Oh, yes. Oh,
it was wonderful.
Oh, that
wonderful.
Is beautiful. Wonderful indeed.
Wonderful.
Wow. I always love to hear the stories of how people came to their spirituality, especially our ancient spirituality, because the stories are varied, the stories are rich, the stories are about synchronicity, about alignment.
And nobody in Jamaica knows at that time. I didn't know anybody who knew the word of Shona. I never heard of the religion before.
Right. And that was 40 years ago, and it didn't have its wide exposure that it has.
Right. Well, now, my love, it is as if it's exploded.
I love that. Oh my goodness. Now, dance. Let us know about how you came upon your dance portion of your life.
I'm interviewed a lot by young girls because my technique, Lantic, which I call a carry mod technique. That means a modern technique dominated by Caribbean information. And for me, Catherine Dunham technique, I do ballet to Catherine Dunham, I must tell you. I had a chance to interview her. And why I do ballet? Because she brought the eyes of the world to the Caribbean.
Yes.
She made them know this place exists with all this knowledge, and so I do ballet. And I here I am now, a Jamaican who have developed a technique. And a technique for me is not a style. A technique is a process of teaching someone, a methodology of teaching, like classical ballet technique. Then you have the Eduardo Rivera technique in Cuba. You have La Técnica Cubana in Cuba. Those two techniques, Eduardo, carry mod techniques. Modern techniques dominated, and being dominated by Caribbean information means you are being dominated by ancestral passing of knowledge through the body. And so mine represents the English-speaking Caribbean. It's the first to do it. It will not be the last, I'm positive. I found myself developing over 18 years. So it's now codified, it's now documented, it's now examinable. So these children interview me and they always ask the question, so when did you start to dance? And the answer is from in the heavens. The answer is from that space that you go to after you go through what is called the Kalunga line, with passage from death to your space.
Yes.
I came into my mother's room. My mother said dancing, because she was for the whole time when music plays, she could feel her body feeling funny. I did not come here to dance. I was sent here to do this. I find it is much easier to take an existing technique and use it.
Yeah, right.
Because the existing techniques are all fantastic.
Yes.
Everyone.
Mhm.
As a technique, I'm in love with Catherine Dunham's work. I'm in love. But I had to find a way to present a technique that dances in patois because we speak patois.
Mm.
In Jamaica, we speak patois.
Mhm.
We speak English and patois.
Mhm.
And so we have to dance in how we speak.
Yes.
Because when the Africans dance and the Africans drum, they're using the drum as a language how they speak.
Yes.
So we have to do that in Jamaica.
Mm.
Because remember, on the slave ship, there were white people, of course, the slave
Mhm.
owners, and there were Africans. No, you could have an African who is Yoruba. You could have another one that speak another language. They're all speaking different languages.
Mhm.
So when they get off of that ship, they have to create a language which is they can communicate and everybody understand each other.
Mm.
And that language became patois.
Ah, shame.
Because then I would be speaking A, you speaking B, and we'd never understand each
Yeah.
other.
Yes.
And that language is how we dance as well.
Yes. Mhm.
So remember I said that all these Caucasian slave owners came off. They
Mhm.
came off with their culture.
Mhm.
They didn't come off without it.
Right.
And we were taught that the first and the only technique is classical ballet.
Mhm.
That is what was given to us.
Mhm.
It came into our culture. So the culture became, we are called out of many one.
Mm.
It's a very controversial sentence.
Mhm. Mhm.
But even if we're out of many one, we are dominantly African.
Mhm. Mhm.
Out of many dominantly African one.
Mhm.
Any way you want to put it. So the technique that I have created is created to get the body to be able to speak both English and patois.
Mm.
So that dancer has to be able to do a proper passe développé.
Mm.
She has to know what's a proper grand plie. But you might see her take that bottom and move it in a circular position like while she's grand plie.
That's right.
You will see that attitude and you will see that Yan Valu in the back with a perfect attitude, a la second and derrière. So we are coming there to present this language, to explode on the stage. And so I came to dance spiritual. I humbled myself to it. You know, I went to college and I decided I'm going to be major in psychology and I'm going to become a doctor. But God never planned that. Orishas never planned that because I wasn't sent here for that. And I think when a person finds either what they agreed to come and do, because you agreed to come and do things. Before you enter this earth, you know, your Ori, you're here, you come down and your mother said, take care of a mole. Take care of the mole. But they don't know why they're taking care of the mole. They just know take care of it. Because that's where all the information about your life was placed, in your Ori. And in there is that information where you said to the divine, you know, I want to be a doctor. And you say, oh, you know, I want to be a dancer. But you have to find a way to remember it. And once you know what you came here for, you will be a success. Because you will be happy.
Yes, indeed. What a beautiful message. What a beautiful statement, because it is so true. Because a lot of times, you know, we don't remember and we come into the world and we have to reawaken to
yes. And some people say, I'm trying to find myself. Or it's an interesting sentence to me.
Yes.
I'm trying to find myself because I myself is right here. And it's inside my soul. And just a bit of meditation and a third eye opening and the various ebos, the various rituals given.
Yes.
And that is why I appreciate Yoruba. I appreciate because the knowledge helps you to know who you are.
The wisdom and I call it spiritual science. I mean, it's
all the odus, all you know, they help you.
And everything has a deep understanding of the universe creation.
Everything.
And our journey here on this planet. All of it. And the deeper I learn about Yoruba tradition, Orisha tradition, the more amazed I am at how
And you know, it's right when you say Orisha tradition, because you know it's candomblé. It's in candomblé. Yes. It's in Lukumi.
Yes.
It's in all of the religions. It's in
Yes, yes.
Santeria. It's
Mhm.
every, because I have a very my babalao that works with me is also from Cuba.
Yes.
So I have an appreciation for how the Africans left the information so
Mm,
we could get it.
mm,
You know,
mhm.
Brazil is rich.
Mm.
You
Very,
know,
very.
so it's really Orisha practice.
It is. It is.
Thank
Yeah.
you for saying that.
You're welcome. Across
Thank you.
the world.
Yes,
Across
thank
the
you.
world. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah,
That is
thank you.
beautiful and the infused journey with so much. I mean, that
Yeah,
information, what you shared just now, is so
yeah.
inspiring. And so, those who are
Thank you.
listening and viewing, I hope those that are trying to find themselves and find their path can listen
Yes.
and open to what you
Yeah.
said, because we
Because
disagree.
you see, I tell people, you see this little fingernail on
Mm,
you,
mhm,
it's a part of the divine.
mm,
When
mhm,
you hurt your fingernail, you hurt the divine.
mhm, mhm.
So I have people who come to me who have thoughts of not being here anymore. But
Yes.
when they're hurting the divine as well. You're not hurting only yourself
Mhm,
because your eyelash
mhm.
was given to you by the divine.
That's right. That's right.
Well, there are some people who don't believe in anything, so I respect them. You know, I respect due to them as well because it's
That's
your journey. It's their
that's a
journey.
part of their journey. That's
That's
right.
their journey from their many lives, and I am not the one to judge anyone. You
No,
know,
and
or make decisions for anyone. You know.
exactly. And that in and of itself may have been a choice to come and
Yes,
uh-huh.
yes. So you see women who say, "Oh, how that woman don't want to have children."
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm.
was her choice.
That was her
And
choice.
what you don't know what she went through in whatever life with children she had. She don't know what pains she had. Be sensitive to the person instead of
Exactly.
being judgmental.
Judgmental and thinking
Yeah.
everyone has to think and do as you.
Everybody has to be who they want to be. It's in the Bible. Be true to thyself
Mm-hmm. That's
if you
right.
want to go from that book. Yes.
So I also want to learn more, because I was so interested in reading the bio of the company, reading your bio, and talking about the folklore of Jamaica and how it is part of the deep entrenched into all that you do. Can you give us a little insight into Jamaican folkloric dance and how it's inspired your work?
I told you I was in America,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a dance company in Miami, Lakako, that became very well known.
Mm-hmm.
It was just And then one time the dancers were just not functioning. I
Mm-hmm.
decided I'm coming home to Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
I came home in a very interesting way. I got up, picked up my Orishas, and ended up in Bahamas and ended up in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I felt like I didn't know my own country. I was away for so long.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back into the field, but I didn't go back into the field as a person who was observing. I
Mm-hmm.
went in back to the field in psychology, they might say phenomenologically, a way that you are totally involved.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be dancing barefooted with everybody. I
Mm-hmm.
would be there in that space as a
Mm-hmm.
as a practitioner.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back into what is called Cumina.
Mm-hmm.
Now Cumina is Congolese.
Mm-hmm.
Cumina, I'm going to say a Cumina prayer for you, if you
Yeah,
don't mind.
Ashe, please.
One kwali kwali, one den den de. Belly kulun mama kisa deya. Bam lekele, le lekele. Louisa Kwenda, kusum bela pele, mbambele. Now, Jamaican people of a certain education, once they hear these kind of words, if I say Oludimaribogo ikutimbalesi, it
Mhm.
means it's obia. It means it's not good.
It's not good.
The whole of them get nervous. When the woman who got the prayer by being in what they call Mayal, which is also being in spirit,
Mhm. Mhm.
and when they sent her words to the Institute of Oriental Languages in London,
Mhm.
they said it's something that kind of favor the Our Father prayer. It's a
Mhm.
prayer. It's a prayer.
Mhm.
But because of our European hegemony,
Yes.
people get, oh my God, what I'm saying.
Mhm.
It's not British
Yes.
English. They're not saying our Father who art in heaven. So it
Mhm.
can't be a prayer.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I found myself in that space learning from the Queen of Cumina, Queenie Imogene Kennedy, and spent 18 years in that space and studied the movement structure, what happens with the feet, what happened. And then while studying that, I also put myself in the Naya Binghi Rastafari space to understand the Naya Binghi, the kete drum, you know, the funde, the bass, it's also called the repeater, to understand that consciousness. And I found myself studying Brockings, which is a dance that is done for the abolition of slavery. The dance that when the people did the dance, they got a message that slavery was abolished. They decided to celebrate, and they were heavily beaten because it was not yet finished. The legal action wasn't yet finished.
Right.
And so they at that time they have no cell phone. You know, the man on a donkey come and tell you.
That's it.
By the time him leave Kingston and him reach Portland, the message changed. It's like a Chinese telephone. Message changed. And so when it was abolished, they stayed on the plantation for another year in fear.
Yeah.
Not wanting to be treated the way they were treated. So I went and not researched movement, but researched the history of the movement. Research the grounding of the movement. Try to, as the Rasta man said, overstand, not understand.
Yes.
Overstand what was happening in the consciousness of the enslaved in the time that it was happening. You know? And I always wondered, that day of emancipation, do you go through the gate? Do you stay here? Because once I go through that gate of this plantation, I don't own any land. I don't have anywhere to plant my food. I don't have anything.
Yes.
I am going through that gate with anything I have on my back. We must be, I get goose pimples when I speak about. We must be so proud of our ancestors because it was a choice, you know. Because they told them you can stay here and work.
Yes.
And you get a small stipend. They're going to still be treated as slaves, you know, because the white man cannot change.
Yeah, no, they weren't going to change. Nope.
But it becomes a safer thing because where you going to go? That time Jamaica have plenty land with nothing on it.
Right.
And I'm so proud that they walked through that gate and started life. And so that is what I went back to research.
Right.
Not because the word folklore have a tendency to have a meaning relative to storytelling, passing down information orally. And traditional, sometimes it don't include dance, but information is on the body. The body is the first method of communication.
Yes, it is.
So when those Africans couldn't speak to each other, they had to speak with the body. They had to say, listen. And the body spoke. And that's dance. And that's dance. And so that's how I ended back in those spaces, barefooted, mosquito biting me plenty, you know, dancing the dance, watching the rituals that were done with the goat and the chicken. I went in there as a priestess. I went in there to find my knowledge now.
Yes.
And then there's the revival religion here in Jamaica who have a lot of Yoruba retentions in it.
Wow.
We have an area in Jamaica where the people speak Yoruba. And the people say, I am Yoruba.
Really?
So, yes. So I had to spend time. I came home and I decided I'm not starting a dance company because maybe somebody have a dance company that look better than mine already. So why start a dance company? People go back to spaces and assume they have knowledge now to give. They have it all. No, it's better you go back and find out what is there.
Yes.
So what do I have to give? Maybe I have something to give, but what is it that I have to share with them? So I spent years doing that and spent years in the field. And it is those years that assisted me with making the grounding of my technique and the dominant, what is Jamaican retentions in the technique, while at the same time developing a modern dancer.
Wow.
That's why I tell everybody I didn't do it. I was guided in every way by Ifa, Orishas, ancestors, the divine energy. He might have many. It said in the Bible that he would have many names.
Mhm.
Oludimari, Ra, King Zambi Punga is the name that the Cumina people use.
Okay.
But it's the one divine energy that is guiding us.
It is. It is. And it's only through humility and
Yes.
how would you say allowing
Yes.
that you can get the information
Yes.
you need or the guidance that
Yes.
you need.
Because sometimes you're not getting all the information, you're getting what you need. I have great respect, you see, for talented individuals.
Yes.
I don't claim to be able to do everything.
You can.
So I have wonderful costume designers.
Excellent.
There's one living in New York by the name of Cyprian Thomas. My dancer, Yakeem Reed. I have Arlene Richards. Verus, these are Monica Potts Lawrence. And each one might be different depending on the dance.
Yes. Right.
Because each person has a flavor that goes with whatever I'm choreographing, and I am honored that they choose to help to work with me.
Yes.
My technical director, Naya, is a female technical director. I'm so happy to have my female people.
Yes.
Who has a master's degree in lighting from somewhere in Europe.
Wow.
And she will be with me in New York doing the lighting. She is she knows what I need. I was at an IABD one year, and I don't know his name, but he worked with Alvin Ailey once, and he's a lighting designer. And I always like to bless him up because he lit my dance, and I will never forget him. And one day somebody will remind me he was a dancer with Ailey, and now he's a lighting designer. And I've always been grateful because these people are important to your space.
Absolutely.
So I have lighting props, people who make my props from scratch. My costume, the person who makes all my costumes. So what this is to tell you that I have been blessed to be surrounded by very talented people who help me for when that curtain opens, for you to feel as if you're having a meal that is the best meal you've ever had.
Indeed, and to be in a space where you can attract the right people to you to support what you're doing, as well as people not understanding all that goes in, and they don't need to understand to making a production such as
a lot. I have now an associate artistic director, Jessica Shaw, who has taken up so many things so that the work can happen because it's a lot. For us to get to that airport, to go on that plane to reach New York, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And we're doing it with a lot of love. We come in there to do what we call build bridges through the arts. That's what we do everywhere we go.
Everywhere.
We want to build bridges through the arts. With artistry that is delectable. With artistry that will speak your soul.
Yes.
With artistry that will make a statement for something you feel about, that you feel, they say you have 5 senses, I say you have 7, 8, 9, 10 senses, but every one of them should be touched before you leave the theater.
Wow. That's amazing that you take such great care to ensure that all of those elements are there.
Because it's not about us on the stage, it's about you in the audience.
Absolutely.
And once you don't, that's the first rule you need to have in your head. If what you do on the stage does not touch the person in the audience, you're unsuccessful.
Wow, amazing. I just, can't wait to experience your company in its fullness on January 11th. I will be there for sure to experience your work. All right. Now, I wanted to get into a little bit for our viewers because the people who come to the channel are very much interested in the spirituality from Africa and all the ancient traditions. So I wanted to have you personally experience the role of dance and drum as a form of communicating and honoring the Orisha.
Okay. I realized, I didn't decide, I realized that I need to use my dance to educate about Orishas and honor about Orishas. So, for example, this performance opens with a piece dedicated to Osho. So, I don't want to give you everything, but
No, we don't.
you will see the river, you will hear it,
Mhm.
and you will see the dancers. Every one of them represent Oshun on the stage.
Mm.
I did a piece, a full-length ballet
Mhm.
about the Odu Oshe Otura,
Mhm.
which is the one about the 15 male Orishas that was sent to Earth and
Yes.
Oshun. I did a full-length ballet.
Mhm. Mm.
Every Obatala, Shango, Ogun, Oya, Yema,
Mhm.
everybody was on stage in that
Oh,
piece. And
wow.
then what I did was made a little book
Mm.
so that everybody who left the theater would know what I made a piece about.
Wow.
I wasn't making I didn't want you to leave and you not know. So every
Right.
Orisha, about the Orishas, you got a gift of a little notebook, a book that told you about the Orishas.
Mhm.
The first piece I ever choreographed was a piece called Spirit of Orishas,
Mhm.
which was about the initiation of an Oshun priestess.
Mm.
But it cannot be done. Some things are cannot be done because some things are secret.
Yes.
But whatever I did, it was for our Yoruba conference in Trinidad. You could hear it at the end of the dance. I went into tears
Mm.
because the Oshun priestess stood up and
Mm.
they all rang their
Mm.
bells at the
Mm.
end of the dance. And
Woo.
I didn't know what to do. I said, "Oh, I was young." And I was like, "Oh my God, I thank the Orishas that they're happy, you know."
Mm. 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 Mm.
And then I brought choreographers like Arsenio Andrade, who is
Mhm.
Cuban,
Mhm.
who did a piece again on Oshun.
Mhm.
But the one that I did, Abuzike, every Orisha that was the main Orishas, the seven main
Mhm.
Orishas were on
Mhm.
stage. And but I don't forget ancestors either. I'm talking about Orisha, but remember, ancestors are very important.
Yes, they are the
So
foundation.
one of the pieces coming on stage in New York is called Kalunga.
Mm.
That path, and you will see that path, and then you will see what happens before and after that.
Yes.
And then there's a piece called Wound Four of the Drum,
Mhm.
meaning spirit of the drum. And you
Mhm.
will feel the energy of the because
Mhm.
without the drum we're lost. The
Mm.
drum carries everything.
Mhm.
So my entire life as a choreographer, I find a way every time
Mhm.
to bring Orisha into the space. And
Ew.
this is why Amma Maken is going to be
Oh,
my guest. I
yes.
couldn't. She came to Jamaica, right? And she came for an Obatala, for a bembe, an Obatala,
Mhm.
and for Obatala.
Mhm.
I was invited, and I was sitting in the room, and she was singing. And
Mm.
I've never told her this. The tears that came to my
Mm.
eyes.
Yes.
She sang with her soul for the Orishas. And I
Mhm.
said to myself, and I never told her,
Mhm.
when we're going to New York, that woman is going to be in my theater. I
Uh,
pray she will say yes, or please say yes. And so she is our guest,
ah,
and it's my way of honoring her work.
mhm.
It's my way of, again, this is now how I'm going to bring the Orishas into the space.
Ashe. Yes, Amma McKen is a
Oh
jewel, and the
gosh.
voice
Oh gosh.
oh,
And we are honoring Dr. Una Clark,
yeah.
who
Mhm.
is a black woman who opened roads for a lot of black women,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
who is Jamaican,
Wow.
of Jamaican heritage.
Mhm.
You know, her daughter Yvette Clark is now a congresswoman of
Okay,
Jamaican
that's
heritage.
wow.
So we are honoring her,
That's
and
wonderful.
it's under the distinguished patronage of our Consul General to New York.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. Ah, bringing all that richness into
Yes.
one night,
Yeah.
one performance. I'm going
You
to
know,
keep repeating January 11th,
11. We,
2024.
we couldn't carry our 11 drummers, so
Mm,
five of our drummers are going to be with us, and
right.
that is, and we have taken five of the master drummers so that they
Mm,
can give you you can feel the Cumina properly,
mm,
you can
mm,
feel what we're doing properly,
mhm,
and then we have dancers who are I will say there is no rehearsal, and they
mhm,
say okay, and then I will hear music playing because they
mhm,
came and rehearsed by themselves to
mm,
get ready for the tour.
mm, mm, mm.
And I would say, what is that music happening? Because my studio is right behind me. Yes.
Yeah.
You see, I am planting a seed for a tree to grow.
Mhm.
My dancers tour representing Jamaica.
Mhm.
There is no form of funding in Jamaica to pay dancers. That
Mhm.
is my final dream.
Mm.
I need to figure out how. And so now we are an international NGO. My dream now is how do I get the funding?
Yes.
Because they deserve to be salaried like every other professional
Absolutely.
dancer.
Absolutely.
That my one of my dancers said I do guerrilla management. I don't know what that is. She says all of everything you do, you pray. And
Mhm.
then you figure out, and
Right.
then you get a message. And then you go and say, okay. And we are coming there because we know it has been a long time. We came here the last time to do Bam Dance Africa with Baba Chuck Davis, who I have
Oh,
to call
yes.
his name,
Mama Chuck.
and I have to do like
Ibaye.
this. I have to do like this. Baba Asheo.
Asheo.
So I decided that we are coming again
Mhm.
because we also have to bring Jamaica and the
Mhm.
Caribbean
Mhm.
and share.
Yes.
Our message, if you can have three dance companies come from Jamaica, but they
Mhm.
all have different messages.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it's because Ailey does not look like Philadanco and does not look like,
Right.
they all
Exactly.
have different messages
Mhm.
and different methods, ways of sharing it.
Yes. Mhm.
So I would love if everybody came and tasted my message.
Oh, yes. I indeed. What a message. I know it is. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Yeah, so again, January 11th, for those who are watching, please support this
At
work.
John Jay College,
John
the
Jay.
Gerald W. Lynch Theater. And
Yes.
they get tickets online from
Oh,
touchstone.com.
okay.
So
Definitely.
that, and if somebody I guess don't find their way to the theater, we're not going to kick them out.
Right, exactly. Yes, and I will be posting the link to
Please,
purchase tickets to your website.
please,
All the website
please.
information that, social media will be in the
Yeah.
description so people can click on it and just go and
I'm trying
support.
to create an Oshun altar
Ah,
in the lobby area, but I have to
woo.
ask about the various restrictions and make sure I don't step on anybody's toes.
Mhm,
I've spoken to more than one person who's ready to assist me, but
mhm.
I want to do it in a way with respect to the theater,
Mhm.
because
Yeah, of
the
course.
theater has been very kind to us. They've been very helpful.
Mhm,
The,
mhm.
the various people from CUNY colleges have been very helpful. The chairman of my committee, Professor Carol Archer, is a graduate from CUNY College. And
Mhm,
it is what partly her dream as well to
mhm,
assist us to get to New York. So it's
mhm.
nice to be in a CUNY college.
Yeah.
And they have been very respectful and very kind to us.
Excellent. Oh, that's so wonderful to be welcomed in such a way. New York
Yes,
wants you. New York needs to see you. And
yes,
John Jay College is very accessible. It's in a
yes.
midtown. I used to work right around the corner from them, so
Right,
I know
right.
exactly where they are.
I'm glad
Um,
to hear that
yes,
because I
yes,
want the theater to be full. So everybody, please come.
yes. Please come
Because
and
it's one
support.
performance only, and we have no clue when we'll be back.
Mhm. Right, indeed. I have to come to Jamaica
Yes,
and
whenever
see
you're
some
ready, let
more.
me know. Whenever you're ready.
Yes, and
Because that word you just said, what you said means resounding. I'm going to write it down.
yes,
Because
yes,
I've been looking for something that means something like that to name
yes.
my next season.
Mhm.
So guess what? You're gonna
Okay,
help
good,
me.
excellent.
Yes.
Yes, add that in definitely.
Yes.
Um, I do want to speak a little bit more in terms of specific to Orisha ceremony, Orisha
Mhm.
coming down, the dances, and the rhythms. Can you speak a little bit about that in terms of each Orisha? Not each, don't talk. You don't have to go through each Orisha, but
I really think
how?
we'll be here till tomorrow.
Hmm, what's
You
that?
know, if I spoke up about each Orisha, we would be here until
Oh, we
tomorrow.
sure would. So just in general, how they intertwine dance and the rhythm
Well,
intertwine into the ceremony
well,
itself.
In Africa, dance, singing, drumming, they're not separate. They're
Right.
one. In
Mm-hmm.
one part of Africa, they call it ungotozo, to
Mm-hmm.
sing, to dance, to chant, to everything.
Mm-hmm.
We in the Western world decide that the drummers going to go over there and learn the rhythm. The dancers will go over there and learn the dance, and then they will go over there and learn the songs.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to bring it back together. Oops.
Mm-hmm.
because it's all one.
Yeah.
The drum is playing, you are dancing, and the singing is happening at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's learning everything at the same time.
Yes, indeed.
But specific to Orishas, every Orisha, and we have to be careful because we have to be careful what we're talking about, because
Mm-hmm.
my Santeria, the
Mm-hmm.
dances look different from the ones I see in Nigeria.
It's true. Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the rhythms are similar but slightly shaded differently.
Mm-hmm.
But how it is being presented, what Shango does is not what Ogun does, is not what
Right.
Oshun does, is not what
Exactly.
Yemoya does,
Mm-hmm.
is not what Obatala does. Obatala movement is very like Obatala, slow.
Mm-hmm.
I like Obatala men. They sit and they
Mm-hmm.
say, "Hi, how are you?" I love them. Obatala men, though, they're just very smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Obatala women, they're very smooth. Oshun women are very, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and Elegba, another way of moving. Oh gosh, another different way of moving. And so for some of us who know the dances, when the Orisha comes down, we know who is there from the body language.
Mm-hmm.
Before the Orisha even open the mouth, okay, that's Shango Kabiesi here now.
Mm-hmm.
And you go up on your toes and you say, yes, Baba.
Mm-hmm.
So and there are other characteristics to every Orisha that is specific. It's not just the dancing, For every Orisha, there's a number. For every Orisha, there's a color. For every Orisha, there's a time in the lunar energy.
Mm-hmm.
For every Orisha, so they're very specific.
Mm-hmm.
Very specific. How you use the arms for Yemaya, how you use it it's very different.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So for teaching an Orisha class, you can't just say I'm teaching the steps of you can't teach a step of every Orisha in one step. You have to say I'm teaching Yemaya.
Yes.
I'm teaching Oshun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm teaching Obatala. Yeah, it's all very different.
Oh, that's excellent. Now, and the fact that they're so distinct to each Orisha, the dance, the move.
And the drums, because in Cuba they use the bata drum.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. The three bata drums are used for Orishas. Yeah. Now, some places bata has not been able to migrate to some places. So we use djembe, you use all other drums. Mm-hmm. But in Cuba, you can't have anything without the bata drum.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. And even here, when you're speaking to ancestors, you use the kibandu, the playing cards, which are the Cumina drums, because they speak specific to ancestors. They are calling ancestors.
Yes.
Right.
The rhythms call. They go through the universe, through the
and call ancestors.
And they call and they hear their rhythms, and they are.
And when the Cumina drum, all you have to do is do this. Plop! And they're already called. You just go so plop, and it's done. Imagine somebody going to spirit same time. You don't know.
Oh my God, this is beautiful. So yeah, I just wanted for you to give our audience a little bit of that so they understand how it interplays and supports and is part of the foundation. The music, like you said, the music, the drum, the dance, the songs, colors, all of that is
everything. Food.
Yes, they have specific.
In my thesis, when I was writing I wrote about Cumina and I wrote about Naya Binghi, and I wrote every single one have a different smell. Because there is no meat at a Rastafari Naya Binghi. Right, all you're smelling is ganja. You're smelling soup.
Yes.
Soup that don't make with fish. It only make with yam and green banana and fantastic herbs and everything,
Yes.
So the smell of a Naya Binghi groundation is very different from the smell of a Cumina yard, where every meat is there, fish is there.
Yeah. Right.
Wow. So the smell of this, even the smell of the space is different.
That's beautiful. Look how our ancestors just bring us their wisdom through us, and then
I am leaving here right now to go to what is called Bubble Hill, which is where the Rastas live, very article Rastas. But I'm going there to buy gifts to bring to New York to give to my VIP guests. I have to be careful how I dress.
Yeah. Oh, when you go there, right?
I have to be
Has
very
to be long.
respectful. I, you know,
Hmm.
you have to know your attire
Yes.
when you're going to meet with these elders.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's very specific. You don't
And-
get up and you just go there because you want to go there and you have on a batty rider and you're sexy. No,
Mm-mm.
can't do that.
No. And
Dancehall is very different.
knowing the customs of
Yes,
the culture is so very important and is
very
respectful,
important.
and
Very
you
important.
will gain more with understanding and respecting and abiding by the cultures when you go and
But you
interface.
know, I must tell you this, which you should find interesting. I was the first to put dancehall on stage in Jamaica.
Mhm.
Inside dancehall, I see the Orishas. You see
Mm.
Oshun and all these sexy women.
Mhm.
You see very, and you see the colors that they
Yeah.
wear, and you look at the man, the man them that coming. You see Ogun warriors coming through.
Yes.
You see
Yeah.
Ashanti warriors
That's
coming
right.
through.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes, right there because they cannot spit out the cultural energy and all of that information from their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
It is right there.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-mm. Undeniable. So also I saw that some of the proceeds from your program that's coming up on January 11th are going to benefit Children of Jamaica Outreach.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There is an organization in New York,
Mm-hmm.
and there is a young man by the name of Lyndon. I have to call his name because he's been on the ground working on this performance,
Mm-hmm.
Lyndon Taylor. And he introduced me to this organization that what they do is raise funds for
Mm-hmm.
inner city children who want to go to university and cannot pay for university.
Wow.
So what they do is raise the funds and they give them the money for school fees.
Mm.
And they see this child through university
Awesome.
by doing fundraising events
Yes.
to pay for school fees for this child.
Wow. That is beautiful.
So
Thank you for that.
and my dancers, it's not a job. This performance is not a job. It's a cross cultural exchange.
Mm-hmm.
They're happy because they know what was happening. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, we make sure they have their per diems and they,
Yes.
they
Of
like a
course.
small
You have
stipend, but
to.
they're not
Mm-hmm.
being paid.
Mm-hmm.
It's cross cultural exchange
Mm. This
and
is
the raising of funds for
mm-hmm.
these students who studied there's one girl, that she studied and gunshot was firing all the time. She studied under her bed.
Mm.
And she's now a physicist in America. She ended up working for Obama. So what they're doing with this organization is something that we should be very proud of.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's an investment in all of our youth. It's so
Yes.
important
And
because
this is
look,
why it's so important to me that people come.
mm-hmm.
Because it's not only about us, it's about those children who want to go to
Yes,
school.
exactly. And we must support our children. That
Yes.
is that's extraordinary.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
love that and thank you for that
Yes.
part of your work. That's beautiful.
Yes. You can't just using the dance just to people to come in the theater
Mm-hmm.
and just look.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of empty.
Yeah. Yeah.
You kind of have to add a little more to it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be raising funds for everybody.
That's
Sometimes it's the repertoire on stage that is also doing the work.
mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
you go to Alien, the repertoire is doing the work.
It's
You go
open
to
up.
other
Yeah.
companies over there, the repertoire is doing the work.
It is doing the work
The fact
in
that
and of itself.
Harlem Dance Theater, black dancers aren't
Mm-hmm.
able to go on point. It is doing the work.
Mm-hmm. That's
Catherine
right.
Dunham saying, listen, we have dance, that is ours. And
Mm-hmm.
the Caribbean is rich. Haiti is an
Mm-hmm.
important place, it's rich.
Ooh.
That's doing the work.
So is there
Yes.
anything else do you want to share while we're in this moment about your work, the company, what's coming up?
Yeah. Well, right now the focus is New York,
Mm-hmm.
and the focus is the sharing of our energies with everybody in the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Then we are supposed to be in sometime in the year 2024. We're there almost. Wow. We might be going to Spain and France.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have other people who will be speaking to about going to Florida, going to New Orleans.
Wonderful.
But also, I'm where now, and I don't want to give you the details, working on a workshop here in Jamaica where people can come and study with us.
Ah.
But not just to study the
Mm-hmm.
dance,
Mm-hmm.
but to feel the river water
Mm.
I give dance classes in the ocean water.
Wow.
I give a dance class at the ocean,
Mm.
in the ocean water.
Yes.
And you're thinking, people might be thinking, oh, we're going to be giving dance classes that is just beat up the water. No,
Mm-hmm.
we have dancers doing grand jetés into the water. Know
Mm.
what it is to get over that water, to go in?
Mm-hmm.
So we have to fix the ocean that there are no stones to injure them and everything.
Right, right.
So
Yes.
so we are working on that healing workshop
Yes.
that people will come, but it's not just for healing, it's also for technique training.
Yes.
It's a
Oh.
blend of both.
Whew.
And also learning the traditional forms.
Yes.
So when you leave, you should feel full.
Mm. Yes. It sounds just
And
like
yeah,
that. Mm.
yes. So we are working on that as well.
That's awesome. Well, I want to also just restate about your upcoming show in New York City.
Mhm.
Everyone who's listening to this before January 11th, that's in the New York City tri-state area. That means New Jersey and Connecticut. You can get to the city, Midtown, to see this show. That is, the company is called Lacaco, a United Caribbean Dance Force. And it performs Thursday, January 11th, 7 p.m. in New York City at John Jay College's Gerald W. Lynch Theater. The address is 524 West 59th Street. And we'll also be honoring Dr. Una S.T. Clark and with a guest performances by the renowned vocalist and acpon Amma McKen. And you can purchase tickets online at touchstonelink.com/lacadco. And I will have that link below in the description. So it's easy for you to just click, 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 and buy your tickets and support this wonderful work, rich, rich with culture, spirituality, love, power, soul, training, teaching, all of that. It's just rich. So come on and see the show. And Dr. Stines, Latoinette, it has been a joy, absolute
Thank
joy
you. Thank you
speaking with
very
you
much.
today.
I
And
appreciate that you had me on your show because I know that you have such beautiful people that will be listening.
yes,
I
indeed.
appreciate the beautiful people that will be listening. And I look forward to even one person will say, I saw you on the show and I'm here. So
Mhm.
say hello to me. Some people don't say hello to me. I'm a human being to say hello. Give me a hug.
Right, as I said,
Yeah.
yeah, please. And if when you're coming from this channel, please let Dr. Steins know that you
Yeah.
came because you saw this video. That would be
Yes.
great, you know, and
Yes. And you will be at my show.
I will absolutely be there.
Thank you so much for having
You're
me.
very welcome. So,
Blessings and much love from
much,
Kingston, Jamaica.
oh, and much love from New York, New Jersey.
Yes.
And I want to thank everyone who stayed and listened and got to this part of the show. We will absolutely, be giving out the information and reminding you as well to come on through and support this wonderful work. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Hit the like button. Look at the description for all the other information and subscribe as well. You like the show? Subscribe to the channel. All right. So we are saying good day, good night, good afternoon.
Oh, Dabo.
Odabo.